Hi everyone. I would like to have a short review, video response to Dr. Thang, Dr. Neng Thang, and Dr. Kham, Kham. The article or the periodical written in 1990, I think 98, magazine in July, written that in Zomi that say that Seventh-day Adventist are cult. And the popular today is Dr. Thang also spread so much news regarding Seventh-day Adventist occult, even in the periodicals of EBC back in Burma. So I would like to respond a short video, my heartfelt video, and it will be very short. And my response would be that Seventh-day Adventists are not cult, but indeed Seventh-day Adventists are Orthodox Christian with distinction. Is it clear? That's what I'm trying to prove. So three things. The distinction that we all know. The three things, the distinction that I would like to present are Shabbat, and the Ellen White writings. And the third thing is sanctuary service. So these three things are distinction on top of the regular evangelical Christian. So if these three things are found unorthodox or unbiblical, then yes, Seventh-day Adventists are cult. But if these three things are acceptable to you and biblical and orthodox, then Seventh-day Adventists are not cult, as Dr. Walter Martin confessed in his life before he passed away. Now I just want to make short, so I would like to apologize everyone if I use some big word that I not quite understand, because because the person that I'm responding to are well-educated people, like, high people among our community. So pardon for if I use big word. Here's Dr. Thang said that an ecclesiastical, it's not as in the regular church member or the regular Christian with the Christianity, but my first response, the three things would be this, the Seventh-day Adventism, the three distinction that I would like to prove that they are orthodox, they are biblical. The Sabbath and the sanctuary service and the Ellen White writing, they are biblical. They are not found unbiblical. There's one. First point. This middle century, the middle 20th century, Walter Martin and Dr. Barnhouse come to the General Conference office in Maryland, and they investigate the theology of Seventh-day Adventism, and they try to prove that the Seventh-day Adventists are not one of us, like mainstream evangelical Christian. Then the first book he wrote, Walter Martin wrote, Kingdom of Cults, he includes Seventh-day Adventists along with Mormonism and some other Christian Science with Mary and her church members, and Watchtowers or the Jehovah's Witness. But later, at the second edition, after the investigation, after around about I believe 1957, 58 somewhere, the second edition, Walter Martin, he withdraw that Seventh-day Adventists are not cult, because he could not find fault with, he could not find biblical fault with Seventh-day Adventism. The only things that he find is that Ellen White, her writings are controversial. That's all he could find, controversial. And the last debate with between Dr. Walter Martin in I think the late 1980 in Chicago at the show of Dr. Ankerbuck, John Ankerbuck, and they debated that, well, yes, I could not find, he said. He could not find any fault. But the only thing is that she is not infallible interpreters of the Bible. And that's what I believe. That's what the Seventh-day Adventists believe as too. Because her writings are not infallible. All the words are not given by God. Maybe she is moved by Holy Spirit and filled with Holy Spirit. And she got some vision, but we do not know all in detail. We could not prove. The only thing wise we accept is that we could not find any contradiction with the Bible. That's why we still use her writing. So William Johnson, the debaters with Walter Martin at that show, said that she wrote more than 2.5 million words, more than 52 books, and many more periodicals, letters, many more encouragement things that she wrote. More than 2.5 million words with the 3 graders, and that was amazing. So I just say amazing, but I do not say infallible. And the same way they are saying she's not infallible, her writing is not infallible, but there is no contradiction with the Bible. So that's why her writings remain very important to the denomination. Is there any contradiction in the Bible? If you can find any contradiction in the Bible, and if you found some major part, then yes, her writing and her, especially with the Seventh-day Adventists, could be found Khat. Minor thing would be you can find, but just John example, the Gospel of Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, we can find that there are some contradictions similar. Like example, 95. Many scholars believe that 95% are in the same page, but the rest maybe we find some her writing the more, but there is no major contradiction with the Bible. So that's one thing. So I'm done with that. So if you find contradiction, then yes, Seventh-day Adventists are caught. But if you cannot find any contradiction with the Bible regarding her writing, then no, Seventh-day Adventists are not caught. They are Orthodox Christian, like all the other Christian. And the second thing, Sabbath. Sabbath is a simple thing. So God gave them 10 commandments, and Seventh-day Adventists just only believe that the 10 commandments are not mean to save us, but just a commandments. It's not abolished, it's not done away. So the Sabbath is one. So it's not 9, but it's 10. The Sabbath, God vindicated, or God validated at the cross by his resurrection. That's what we believe, and that's why we just enter into his rest according to Hebrews, Epistle of Hebrew, because I believe Paul wrote Hebrew as the 14 books of his writing, and I believe that he encouraged all the Jews not to abolish, the custom, especially with the Sabbath worshiping, entering into his rest, because they did not enter because they were disobedient. But now, since we've been justified, then we enter. So because forensic justification, we've been justified, then we enter in his Sabbath too. So that's what Seventh-day Adventists believe. If you found it unbiblical, then Seventh-day Adventists are cult. If that you cannot find the unbiblical then Seventh-day Adventists are a very good Christian. My two contention, my two second defense. The third, sanctuary service. The sanctuary service that we've been preaching, it is not unbiblical. It is biblical. Especially the problem that we find is in Hebrew 9:12. Hebrew 9:12 said that Jesus has entered into the tahagia in Greek. So the tahagia doesn't refer to the most holy. That the tahagia doesn't only refer to the first part. The tahagia can just simply, refer to the temple. So that means that Jesus, as soon as he entered or as soon as he ascended to heaven, then we can assume that Jesus had entered into the temple or the holy place or the dwelling place, the tabernacle. So that's all. But that doesn't mean that many people, many theologians or many biblical scholars believe that Jesus has entered into Hagia Hagion. But the Hagia Hagion is not mentioned in Hebrew 9:12. It's only mentioned Tahegia, toward the holy place, toward the temple. So the argument from larger evangelical are unbiblical. And Hebrew 9, Daniel, regarding Daniel 8:14, the word they use, shanek, or whatever. I'm not a Hebrew student, so I'm just may say it wrong. It's many people say that Hebrew Daniel 8:14 and Leviticus 16, the word tahil and shadak, it's not the same. Very much refer to kippur. So the kippur is justifying or covering, but tahil is literally cleaning. Now, many people say that sin, there is no cleaning, literal cleaning in Daniel 8:14. Then it's not referred to the heavenly sanctuary cleaning. But now then, if we are justified, the word tahir is no longer needed in Daniel or in the future. But the word kippur or kippur, Yom Kippur, kippur, covering, justifying, the word vindicating, the word neshek is a good word because God is justifying us. The same word is used in Isaiah 53, verse 11. My righteous servant will justify many. So that word justifying is a good thing because we are justified. So sanctuary service, the sanctuary doctrine teachings is biblical. If you find unbiblical, then prove it. I will accept it. Unless you proved it, then Seventh-day Adventists stay good Christian. Amen.